Project Veritas, be brave, do something. That's what we're going to talk about here today, and I have a special treat for you because I have some very special people that I'm going to bring up on the stage. As you can see there, some of the insiders that we worked with over the years at Project Veritas. And one of my favorite books, before I get started, 1984, the year I was born, George Orwell said, famously, freedom is the freedom to say that 2 + 2 make 4. If that is granted, all else follows. So these people just confirm what we know to be true. It's blasphemy to their organizations and the media. We'll talk a little about that in a minute. And at the end of this, I have a special tease for you about what's coming next. So we'll get to that. Project Veritas has been banned on Twitter. And I myself have been banned on Twitter, which I view as a badge of honor, by the way. But what you may not know is that after I was banned on Twitter, every single one of the stories that we have done has trended on Twitter, even though we've been banned. So they haven't been able to Jack Dorsey tried to cut us off the knees. He failed. And we continue with CNN tapes and Twitter lawsuits and the New York Times defamation lawsuit. So people ask, what can I do? How can I get involved? And we want to help answer that question for you. And we have some examples of some people who have done amazing things, including this man, Morgan Common from Facebook, a brave insider whistleblower. He leaked documents to Project Veritas confirming what we all know to be true. The documents show vaccine hesitancy. If you say anything about COVID or the virus, it'll prevent you from speaking about this, even if what you're saying is true. That's the shocking thing. Facebook actually says it could actually be true or potentially true, and they'll still ban you. So Morgan, working for Facebook as an employee, found this so shocking, he decided to come to Project Veritas and blow the whistle. And I think we have a video of him sitting down with us explaining why he did this.
What would happen if this was scaled larger and scaled to Twitter and the internet as a whole is way worse than anything that could happen from me getting fired from my job. To me, that it far outweighs that. Because it's about more than me, it's about really everyone in the world.
It's almost like you're saying that your desire to follow your conscience outweighs any potential risk there might be to you from doing this.
Yes. I have 2 kids. I have, my wife, and if I lose my job, it's like, what do I do? But that's less of a concern to me.
So Morgan could not be here right now because he's having a baby with his wife, but he did make a little video here I'm going to show for CPAC. He filmed himself, and we're going to play that.
Hey guys, Morgan Common here. Hope you're having a good time at CPAC. I'm not going to make it out this year because I'm staying home to attend the birth of my second child, my daughter. But I'll make it out with Project Veritas probably next year or some other conventions before then. So hope you guys have a good time, and just want to let you know that you should stay tuned for what's coming up next in Project Veritas. You won't be disappointed.
You heard it from Morgan. Stay tuned. Now, Morgan was fired from Facebook, and within 36 hours, he raised $500,000. Sending a message to these big tech companies that there is a silent majority of people out there who will have their backs, a grassroots movement of people. And that's just the first one. A quick story about one of the first whistleblowers. You may remember him, Eric Cochran, Pinterest insider, whistleblower. He came to us showing that the company was censoring Bible verses. You couldn't even type in the word on the search autofill. And you would have been a conspiracy theorist had not Eric given us the actual code showing they had assigned a severity level to a Bible verse. This was in the software. He also showed that they were labeling pro-life organizations and economics websites like Zero Hedge as pornography. This was what Pinterest was doing. And Eric came to Project Veritas. He's currently our director of whistleblowing. This is what Eric had to say.
To me, there's no other option. I could go through life and I could live in the comforts of life, then I'll just fall to ashes. No matter what I lose, it'll mean something after I'm gone.
And Eric Cochran is here today. Come on, Eric. Come on out. Our first whistleblower.
The lives of the insiders that you'll see today all changed so much after they blew the whistle. And all of them can attest to the fact that their lives are improved, that their consciences are clear after coming to Project Veritas. Now, many of us know that corruption in America is getting much worse. The good news is that Project Veritas is getting so much bigger, and our sources are getting so much bolder. If you're on the inside of a corrupt institution, come talk to us today or send us an email at veritastips@protonmail.com.
Thank you, Eric. Eric Cochran. Find this man, talk to him. He will not ask anyone to do what he himself did not do. He's a whistleblower, a brave man, and has inspired many more like him, including this person from Google who leaked us a document showing something called algorithmic unfairness. Sounds like science fiction. No, this is an actually private document within Google where they're saying, even if you can't read it, it's on the screen there, it says, even if it's factually accurate, it is algorithmically unfair, and we'll censor it. And this is Zach Voorhees within Google leaking us PowerPoint presentations showing what the company's doing. I asked him, what compelled you to lose your job for the public's right to know? And this is what Zach had to say.
I feel that when I'm coming and explaining what Google was doing, this is an act of atonement, okay, to make my conscience clear.
And Zach is here. Come on out, Zach.
Thank you, James.
Google whistleblower.
You're too kind. You know, Google promised you that they would be politically neutral. They made it their mission statement that they would be politically neutral. They even swore to Congress that they would be politically neutral. But when the wrong president got democratically elected, they threw all of that away in order to bring a communist, censoring, totalitarian regime, Trojan horse into the American system. And you know what? They would have gotten away with it if it were not for James O'Keefe and the brave employees of Project Veritas.
Google whistleblower. Pretty inspirational. Now, every time one of these guys comes forward, it inspires another dozen people to come to Project Veritas, and we have more slides to show you here. The next one, a brave Facebook whistleblower. Let's see, this person recorded people saying, just this week, Trump announced a little lawsuit against these tech companies for shadow banning. Well, they say under oath that shadow banning isn't a thing. They say it doesn't happen, but their own employees say it does happen when they're in private. And this was recorded by a few of these Facebook people, and you can hear one of the content moderators admitting they shadow ban.
Facebook shadow bans.
Yeah.
Facebook's notorious for it. And they say they don't, but it's clear that people's content don't comes up because it's been defiltered off the queue.
Now, if I perjured myself under oath, I'd probably go to jail. Rightfully so. But they lie before Congress and say they don't do the thing their own employees say they're doing. And we would know none of this. People say, well, how are we going to solve the problems? Well, to solve the problems, you have to expose what they're doing behind closed doors because they're lying about it. So our next insider, if we go back to the slide, brave Facebook insider who recorded Daniel Will. His name is Ryan. Ryan, come on out here.
Hey CPAC, my name is Ryan Hartwig, and I worked at Facebook for 2 years. I filmed with the hidden camera for about 9 months, and I exposed Facebook's censorship regime. They censor political speech. I want to thank Project Veritas and James O'Keefe. We need to keep fighting against big tech. Big tech needs to be held accountable, and we're going to do our part as brave Americans. Thank you.
Thank you, Ryan. You know, I wish that people in Washington, D.C. just had 100 the courage of these guys. You know, I think it's there you go. I think it's moral courage is a more rare form of courage, and we need more of this. But every time Ryan, Zach did this, released these videos, more whistleblowers came to Project Veritas, including a man named Kerry Porch. Kerry worked for CNN and asked me for one of these little cameras. He recorded his boss talking about how CNN is not a news organization. They don't report the news. They hate what CNN has become. None of this shocks you, but what's shocking is that it confirms everything we believe about CNN. This is a man named Patrick Davis.
Hate seeing what we were and what we could be and what we've become. It's just awful. We could be so much better than we are.
Worked for CNN for decades. Also, many other reporters following Kerry Porch's lead recorded people within CNN. This man, Charlie Chester, who's in the control room, he sees everything. These tapes were so big, Jack Dorsey decided it was too true, too effective, so they banned us for publishing, for effectively quoting what this CNN executive said. These are the people who manufacture consent. These are the organizations that Google and Twitter prefer in their algorithms. It's trash, it's propaganda, but don't take my word for it. Let me just quote you, a CNN executive.
I think we got him through this term. We would always show shots of him jogging, him in aviator shades, and like you paint him as a young geriatric.
We were creating a story there that we didn't know anything about. You know, so that's I think that's propaganda.
Look what we did. We got Trump back. I am 100% going to say it, and I 100% believe it, that if it wasn't for CNN, I don't know that Trump would have got voted out.
Our focus was to get Trump out of office, right? Without saying it, that's what it was, right? So our next thing is going to be for climate change awareness.
Do you think it's going to be just like a lot of like fear, like climate?
Yeah, fear sells. Fear sells. No one ever says those things out loud, but it's obvious.
No one ever says those things out loud, he says. He even brags. He says, COVID's gangbusters with ratings. I mean, he's saying more people should die so that they can have high ratings at CNN. This is disgusting. This is not journalism. And this has inspired hundreds of people, I'm not exaggerating, hundreds come to Project Veritas because they're disgusted by what they see at their workplace every day in newsrooms across the country.
COVID, gangbusters with ratings. COVID, gangbusters with ratings, right? Which is why we constantly have a death toll on the side. Let's make it higher. Like, why isn't it high enough, you know, today? Like, it would make our point better if it was higher.
It's fear. Like, fear really drives numbers. Fear is the thing that keeps you tuned in. If it bleeds, it leads. Yeah.
If it bleeds, it leads?
Yeah. No one ever says those things out loud, but it's obvious.
At CNN, death sells. But we have these people on the inside of these companies, and they give us information. They give us the access to the CEO's phone calls, and sometimes we take advantage of this by dialing into the phone calls and recording them for months at a time, and then informing Chief Executive Officer or President Jeff Zucker that we've done so. This is one of my favorite moments.
You're unmuted.
Hey, Jeff Zucker, you there? Hey, yes. This is James O'Keefe. We've been listening to your CNN calls for basically 2 months, recording everything. Just wanted to ask you some questions if you have a minute. Do you still feel you're the most trusted name in news? Because I have to say, from what I've been hearing on these phone calls, I don't know about that. I mean, we got a lot of recordings that indicate you're not really that independent of a journalist.
Okay. Thank you for your comments. So everybody, in light of that, I think what we'll do is we'll set up a new system.
A new system? I mean, here's the thing. We'll just get access to the new system, Jeff Zucker. Maybe instead of setting up a new system, don't lie. Don't commit fraud. We'll set up a new system. Maybe don't commit fraud instead of changing the system, because we'll get access to all the systems. That's what we do at Project Veritas, and we do it because of brave people like this man and people like him who still work for these organizations. They're still on the inside of these organizations. Kerry lost his job for exposing some of these things. He told me he didn't have any other option but to do that.
I decided to wear the camera because I didn't see any other option, because I noticed that I was in a very unique position in space and time to just do something to protect the Republic.
And Carrie Porch, CNN satellite technical director, is here. Come on stage, Carrie.
How we doing, Texas? Come on, this is Texas, isn't it? All right. Thank you so much. Thanks to James and the team. Listen, I didn't betray CNN. CNN betrayed me. They betrayed you and the rest of the Republic when they abandoned their journalistic mission of facts first. Now, if you notice on stage here, we've started a movement. The dam has started to crack and it's starting to flow faster and wilder and bigger, where 1 is going to turn into 2 to 4 to 8 to hundreds over the next couple years. If you're on the inside of one of these institutions, media, government, education, come find any of us and we'll be glad to tell your story the way it should be. And if you haven't noticed, we protect you on the back end. Thank you so much.
Carrie Porch, CNN. Now, as a result of what he did and a result of what a lot of these whistleblowers did, people inside TV News continue to come to us, including this meteorologist and journalist at CBS Detroit, Michigan. She was reporting on an incoming barometric pressure change, a weather pattern coming into the Great Lakes region, but what the CBS Detroit station realized is, well, April Moss was the storm. Check this out.
Showers moving in around 8 a.m. And speaking of a brand new week, I will be sitting down this week with Project Veritas to discuss the discrimination that CBS is enforcing upon its employees. Tune in to Project Veritas for my full story. Now, later Monday, we will see those showers continuing through late morning.
I am not kidding you. As a result of what April did, we're literally talking to dozens of people like her. And this is a very inspirational minute of tape interviewing April, talking about her experience as a journalist for CBS Detroit, and just an emotional moment because she's giving up her career for you to know what's going on at CBS News.
It's not about me. They have no idea what it's like to be burdened with this and feeling like I'm watching my country disintegrate. And if I don't stand up and do something when I'm able to, I just don't know that I could live with myself. We are supposed to be the people that bring light to corruption. So basically, they're going to use the power of all of Viacom CBS brands.
Is this journalism?
I don't think that this is journalism at all. I think that this is propaganda being pushed on people.
Why would you do that? Basically, that's the most selfish thing I've ever seen. The only change is going to be, on our weekend weather person. That's the only change.
It's hard to hear that.
You're a wife and a mother of 4. How do they feel about this?
They are so supportive. I'm so blessed to have them. They support me 100%. We put our faith and hope and trust in God. That's what we do.
April's family was there, and she came out, lost her job. We were able to raise her a little bit of money to help her continue her reporting. And ladies and gentlemen, April Moss is here. Come on out, April.
The job of the media is to be the watchdog for society. We're supposed to protect the people that trust us to bring them the news. But when fear and propaganda and misinformation and even muzzling happens to journalists, the media becomes the enemy of the people. So I encourage every single person listening today that if this is you and your situation in your newsroom, stand up, do something, and stand for truth. You will never be sorry if you stand on the side of truth.
CBS News insider. Courage. Courage. It's really simple. Courage is contagious. April herself was inspired by the actions of, and certainly last but not least, this brave young soul. Here in Texas, Fox 26 Houston, local television affiliate, Ivory Hecker doing one of the most extraordinary things I've ever seen in my life, doing a live news broadcast on the Texas heat wave, but Ivory was about to heat things up a lot more in this broadcast that she did in Houston, Texas.
Fox 26 reporter Ivory Hecker is live in Montgomery County to take a look at that aspect.
Thanks, guys. That's right. Before we get to that story, I want to let you, the viewers, know that Fox Corp has been muzzling me to keep certain information from you, the viewers. And from what I'm gathering, I am not the only reporter being subjected to this. I am going to be releasing some recordings about what goes on behind the scenes at Fox because it applies to you, the viewers. I found a nonprofit journalism group called Project Veritas. It's going to help put that out tomorrow, so tune into them. But as for this heat wave across Texas, you can see what it's doing to AC units.
Yes. People say, how are we going to solve the problems? I say, well, just if people in Washington had just 1 ounce of the courage that these people had. So speaking of broken air conditioning units, apparently there's some broken things happening inside of her local television affiliate there in Houston, and Ivory reported it, she recorded it, and she talked to us on the record while employed as a journalist. And here's what Ivory had to say.
Fox came at my throat for standing up against censorship.
In my opinion, you failed as a reporter.
From the inside, yes, there's a narrative. Yes, it is unspoken, but if you accidentally step outside the narrative, if you don't sense what that narrative is and go with it, there will be grave consequences for you.
It's not just about the viewers, it's about what our CEO reads. It's about what our GM reads.
Not about the viewers. Ivory Hecker, fired by her affiliate. We raised her $200,000. She's now able to report without fear or favor, the way journalism ought to be. And Ivory Hecker is here today. Come on, Ivory.
What's up? Oh my God! It's good to be here. You guys, it was 4 years ago this month that I was boarding a flight to my job interview for my dream job working for Fox. And I'll never forget that interview when I sat down with the TV station president and he asked me why I wanted to be a journalist. And I said, because free speech and free press fortify the freedom of the people. Censorship opens the door to take some of that freedom away. He chuckled at the time and told me that was a pageant answer. Everyone loves free press and hates censorship. So never did I think that just a few short years later, the culture would change so much. I mean, we've seen censorship like never before on social media, but it happened within Fox. My stories were censored. Murdoch employee HR people told me I can't speak publicly against censorship. Strange things are happening in American culture. I hope that me shedding light on this can help media members everywhere and the public return to savoring the importance of the free press, free speech, and what it has done to create this great nation. May we preserve it. Thank you.
Courage is contagious. And I did promise you before I finish, and I apologize for going over a couple minutes, but we do have one announcement to make before we end this. As you all know, Project Veritas sued the New York Times for defamation and won on the motion to dismiss. We sued the hell out of the New York Times. We sued Twitter. We sued CNN. Well, I promised you that we would be deposing them under oath on video. And very soon, Project Veritas will be releasing the first deposition tape inside the New York Times under oath. on videotape. They've never been held accountable in their lives, but they will be held accountable, and you're going to see us release these tapes inside the New York Times very soon. But I just want to say, these are the people that are going to change things. It's up to us. You can't rely upon anybody else. If you have anyone you know inside any of the organizations who are seeing people committing waste, fraud, and abuse, you're the person who can do something about it. Be brave, do something, make them unwilling internet celebrities. Thank you all very much.